What's going on, everyone? I wanted to do a quick post-vacation pocket dump. I had done a video before about 2 weeks ago now, and I'll link that below as to what gear do you guys carry on a plane, in a checked bag, of course, when you travel. So I kind of put it out there because I wasn't sure what gear I was going to take for a trip I was going on to Moab, Utah, to go wheeling for a couple of, I don't know, I guess I was gone about 10 days. And I spent some time in Salt Lake working on my best friend's Bronco, getting it ready to go down to the event in Moab. So I, was kind of wrestling with what do I take? So here is what I took. I took just two watches. I took the Seamaster Diver 300 and the Rolex Air King. I flew with the Air King both times, and I actually wore the Air King for about the first 3 or 4 days of the trip in Moab, and I wore the Seamaster the other 3 or 4 days. And I did scratch up. I remember getting a few of these scratches here on the sides when I was wrenching on the Bronco. But again, these are made to wear, and there was a couple of scratches on it when I bought it from my buddy Bruce Williams, who I met while I was in Salt Lake. I got to go out to dinner with him, who has another big YouTube channel, and I will put his channel down below. It's primarily a watch channel. The Seamaster already had some dings when I bought it from my other good buddy Homer, so I don't know that this one got dinged up any more than it already was. But I do know I put a few scratches in the Air King, which is okay. But I really kept it down to just two watches, and it was kind of nice. So the main light that I carried was the Okluma aluminum light. I don't remember the exact number. It's the DC02. I don't know. This is pretty much my main go-to light. And I took the Streamlight. Again, don't know which one number this is, but this is just a single AAA. And this just lived in my laptop bag because I always take an extra just because you never know, right? Speaking of extras, I did take my typical Swiss Army knife that does have a little LED light on it. Carried this in my pocket, other than when on the plane, of course. Great knife. Used it a few times. Just used the scissors a few times for a couple things. I took the KB237, which was carried for probably 3/4 of the time. And it's still dirty. You can tell that it's got some dust and dirt. Moab is a pretty dusty, dirty area. I have not cleaned it yet since I got home. I literally just put them away and called it good. So this was my main knife. And then for the second half of the trip, I had the XM24 non-flipper version, which again you can see is dusty, dirty, some gunk in the middle. And this one really performed well. They both did. Cutting wire ties when we were working on the Broncos, when we were setting up for the event, cutting a bunch of wire ties for hanging banners and things like that. These both performed really well. And it was really kind of nice having only two choices. One of the things in the morning for me is it's really hard to pick what knife you're going to carry, what watch you're going to wear. I had two choices. It was really rather nice to not have to spend 5 minutes or try to pick, which knife goes with which watch and which light and, all of that stuff. It was just kind of nice to have two choices. And when you're out kind of camping, we were in a cabin and or a motorhome was where I was sleeping and had all my gear. So it's kind of nice to just, kind of wake up, go get breakfast, and just throw on the same thing that you had on yesterday, rather than being at home and having a line of knives on the dresser and a watch box full of 10 or 15 watches that you get to pick through. I'm kind of thinking minimalist is better. I don't know. Like, you guys tell me. I just kind of enjoyed carrying the same thing and having just two things to choose from: two watches, two knives. I am planning a trip here again in July that will be a different trip. I'm going to Hawaii. I don't know if I'm going to take 2 or 3 of each. I am meeting a knife buddy there in Hawaii for a day, so I do want to take something kind of nice to show him. And I was thinking of taking another watch to show Bruce, but I said, screw it, I'm taking 2. Kind of a nicer watch and kind of a beater watch was kind of how I looked at it. Kind of a nicer knife and kind of a beater knife. And the light, I usually just carry one light, and then I do have a backup usually in my laptop bag. There's always a light in my bag as just a secondary backup. So you guys tell me, what do you think about smaller collections versus bigger collections? Or do you have just a few knives that you actually carry and then you collect a whole bunch more? Right? Because I have some fancy knives and stuff, and those don't get carried very often, honestly. I still carry them. I don't have any really that just sit in the safe, so to speak. But they certainly get carried less than others. Or is it better to just have 3 or 4 and that's it? I don't know. It was just really nice to have basically no choices. I enjoyed that during the trip. So now I'm back home, and I have to look at all of my stuff every day when I get ready in the morning and try to figure out what do I want to carry or wear. So it's just different. It was very nice and liberating, if you will, to have just 2 choices. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. All right. Thanks, guys. Just a quick video to kind of to circle back on my previous video, which I'll put a link to that video down below. So thanks a lot. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.